What's good, YouTube? In today's video, I have another Warzone video for you guys, and as you can tell behind me, we're finally in Season 4 of Warzone, and I wanted to go through and give you guys my fully updated settings and the best settings you could be running for Season 4, and I know I just dropped the video not too long ago, but of course, as usual, I have a few more things to update, and I just want to give it another Season 4 update, so hopping straight into it. Keyboard and mouse doesn't really matter. As you guys know, I play controller like every single game. So these settings literally have nothing to do with me. General, I do obviously play controller. I just recently switched my FOV down to 115. I always ran 120 and I felt great, but at the same time, I always felt super inconsistent. So I swapped down to 115. That's where a lot of pros are sitting right now, and that's where I'm sitting. Obviously, this is only a PC thing as of right now. I run 50 brightness. All this stuff is just you. I run Detranopia. Of course, I never know if I'm saying that right, but I run both colorblind targets. In my opinion, it really makes my game and map pop. I run square minimap with enabled minimap rotation, so it rotates with my arrow and not just the map rotating around my arrow. All this stuff is basic stuff. Again, only a PC option right here is these boxes up top. I will say, as of right now, recording this video for Season 4, I'm experiencing some FPS issues, and I'm losing a lot of frames in games. Like, I could have 160 one game, 180 another game, and then the next game I could have 40, and it's really confusing. It makes me fully reset my game to get them back. So let me know in the comments if you're having that same issue if you're on PC. But basically, these boxes are just showcasing stuff for your PC. You can do a ton there. Graphic settings, I do run full screen. You get more performance out of it. This right here is your monitor. This is your graphics card. I do have a 3080. This is your monitor refresh rate, aka what hertz your monitor is. I have a 144 hertz monitor. This right here, I always run at 100. It's like the perfect spot, 1920 by 1080. There's really no reason to go over. You can if you're running like 1440p, but I'm not. So I always sit at 100. I have a disabled VSync. I have a custom frame rate limit. I typically cap it out at like 200, a little bit over my monitor's refresh rate. I have NVIDIA highlights disabled. I have enabled plus boost for the reflex low latency. I have 2.2 sRGB because I'm using a monitor. You definitely want to be using a monitor if you're playing Call of Duty. If you're on like a big TV, you got a huge disadvantage. They have a ton of delay. Of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that, and it doesn't really matter if you're like just casually playing the game. But getting into my actual graphic settings, I always tell you guys, I typically run like low to disabled settings just for full performance. So hopping right into it, I run normal, low, high, enabled, disabled. Like I told you guys, I really want high performance. I will say right here, particle quality, I do run high because I feel like this is one of the things that's a big difference in if your game looks good or bad. These other ones that are low really doesn't have too much of an impact on your game. But this right here, I always have it high because it does make your game look much crispier. Hopping into the next one, I have low, disabled, low, disabled, 1.0, disabled, off, disabled, 0, disabled, and 60. Like I already told you guys, I'm always running all these settings for the best performance. I will say motion blur, we are a year and a half deep into Warzone. If you are still running motion blur in Warzone, I have no clue what you're doing. It makes your game look terrible. There's no reason to have it on. Please disable both and make sure your film grain's at 0, because as you can tell in the graphic, the higher it is, the more it looks like this side. You want it at 0 so it looks nice and smooth. So basically film grain and motion blur just so you have a nice looking game. Hopping into audio, I do run boost high. I've heard that it's a really good Astro A40 setting, but I've always ran it. Of course, I do have A40s on. I've heard people say other ones are good for other headsets, so definitely test it out for yourself. I know a lot of people love boost low, but I run boost high with 50, 0, 50, 60 for my audio settings. Of course, you can tweak that for yourself. Hit marker, I run MW. I don't really like the classic sound. Mono audio, as you can see in the description, I always say this in every settings video, you do not want this on. What it does is it takes your directional audios and puts it all into each ear. So then at that point, you can hear all the audio, but you can't tell what direction it's coming from. Because like I already told you guys, it puts all the audio into both channels. So like you can't tell your lefts and rights with the footsteps. Very chalked, do not turn that on. All this stuff, all these normal preference settings. Hopping into the controller settings, and these are the settings that can go PC and PS4 or Xbox, all consoles really. I run default button layout, default stick layout, disabled invert vertical look. There's a very select few people running invert. I run a 0.10 dead zone. I've always ran this. I did it a long time ago for my stick drift, and then I got really used to it, and now it helps me kind of control it. It's like tension. It's like stick tension. But I run 0.10 with a 9.9 sensitivity, 0.8 low zoom and 1.0 high zoom. I feel like my sensitivity is in a really comfortable spot. I feel good movement wise, aim wise. I'm really accurate all the time. I do always say in every settings video, my best tip for this is find a sensitivity that you're comfortable with movement wise, so you can feel like you're moving smoothly, and then tweak the low and high zoom so you're accurate at mid to long range. Trust me, it'll help you guys out a ton. You could also use mine as like a base and go from there. But I feel super good at mine. I run a dynamic curve type. I've told you guys, I just recently switched to this not too long ago. But it was one of the best changes I've ever made in Warzone. I didn't fully understand what it was compared to the other ones, so I finally fully looked into it, and I was running standard for the longest, but I finally switched to dynamic, and it's life-changing. I feel like I have more recoil control. I feel like I'm just shooting better. I feel like everything is just overall improved after I switched to it. I personally run controller vibration turned off. I don't know what it is about Modern Warfare. Like, I ran controller vibration turned on in every single Call of Duty beforehand. Like, I couldn't play without it. I don't know what it is about the guns in the Modern Warfare engine. I cannot play with it enabled. That's just me. I don't know if it really has that much of an impact on my gameplay, but that could help you as well. I do run disabled because the guns feel like they kick even more. I do run standard aim assist. It's the best option. There's really no point to run the other ones. I run disabled on scale aim assist with FOV. This is a PC option only, but in my opinion, as you can tell right here, this box is your aim assist box, and this is with it enabled. This is disabled. Basically, you're getting more aim assist with it disabled. In my opinion, I genuinely feel like I get stickier aim assist. I aim better. Everything about it being disabled, I feel better. So I've always ran it disabled. All this stuff, just basic settings. Go through, try it all. Right here, U/reload behavior. Contextual tap is a massive W. I've ran it since day one of Warzone. Very select few people still not running it, but it lets you tap to loot, tap to reload, tap to interact. It's a huge thing that you should probably change to if you haven't already. It's going to speed up your game quite a bit, so definitely try that out if you haven't. I run apply one armor plate. As I'm in a fight, I always like prioritize plating up to stay alive, and I basically just claw my controller. Take your index finger and you go, instead of your trigger, you go down to your triangle, and I do that to plate up typically. Mid fight, just keep plating, but I do apply one instead of apply all because I don't like letting go of the button, because when you let go of the button, for me, it stops plating, but with the other one, you let go and then you tap to stop it. Either way, it's just preference. I run apply one. I run tap to slide. This is another thing I just recently switched to. It really improved my movement. I feel a whole lot faster, like infinitely faster moving around the map, so that's a huge W. I do not run auto move forward. I do run auto tack sprint. This is something I switched to a while ago, and it was life-changing. Like, as you guys know, I literally was breaking controllers in Modern Warfare multiplayer in the beginning of Warzone, just spam clicking my left analog stick to get that double time. But I switched to it, and you don't have to click the analog stick whatsoever. My movement improved at least 25%, maybe 50%. Like, I'm really zooming around the map now. This is something I highly recommend. And then obviously this stuff is all you. Overall, those are all my settings, a lot of preference settings, but if you want to go through, use them all, and use it as a base to go from there, tweak it little here, little there, and let me know how it goes for you guys. Let me know how your games go using these. But overall, those are all my settings I'm using currently in season 4. Like I said, go through, give them all a try, let me know how it goes for you. I'll catch you in the next one.